Salutations and shit, guys. Welcome to another episode of your new favorite travel podcast, Travel and Shit. I happen to be your lovely host, Sans Hair, this week. I told y'all that shit wasn't going to last. It was cute. I love the wig. It was fun. Love the look, but it ain't me. I don't enjoy doing hair at all. That's why I don't have hair. But I'm your host, D. Carey, and here at Travel and Shit, we have more of an experiential conversation based on travel, the what I learned, how I experienced, and how it's affected me versus reviews of destinations and places to visit. So I'm going to skip announcements and jump right into it because I have a beautiful guest this week. Tyla, if you would introduce yourself. Did I pronounce it right? Is it Tyla?
Yes, Tyla.
Welcome
Yes,
to Travel and Shit. If you would please introduce
thank
yourself to the
you.
listeners.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Tyla. I am the owner and founder of Smile Jamaica Boutique Resort and Villas. That will be opening in St. Mary, Jamaica next year.
Oh, next year.
Yep,
Oh, that's like quick fast.
yep.
So, I had asked you right before we started recording if, so I guess start with explaining what the facility is, and then let us know if it's like I had asked if it was built already, and you said you were still working towards that. So, if you could give us a little synopsis of what the resort is, and then we can like dive into like all the questions that I had.
Definitely. So Smile Jamaica Boutique Resort and Villas. So we'll have one main facility that will be in Islington, St. Mary, which is about 35, 40 minutes outside of Ocho Rios.
Mhm.
It's a beachfront property, 80-acre property.
Wow.
That that resort will have 50 individual villas, 3 restaurants, pool, workout facility, wellness facility, and such, um, and a rooftop bar where we'll do nice events and things for it. Then the villas part actually is around the island. We're setting up Smile Jamaica communities. So
Mm.
although our resort is in St. Mary, we will have 8 to 10, 8 to 12 villas spread out all across the island. So right now we're looking at a property in the Grill that we want to get started with right away. Really, that property is about 5 acres. We want to build 8 of our individual villas there, maybe a small bar. In each community will kind of highlight um, an aspect of Jamaican culture. So one
Mhm.
would be more music centered, another would be more art and fashion centered, another one would be more nature centered. So everything would just kind of bring it together for, Jamaica.
So why Jamaica?
Oh gosh, why Jamaica? Jamaica chose me, is what I
Okay.
always say. I'm not Jamaican. Um, you know, I just went there and let me see, I became a travel agent in 2013, and I was able to kind of go around and stay on all these different properties. I found myself in Jamaica in 2014, 5 months pregnant.
Mm.
Okay, and I was snorkeling, girl. I was out here just living my best pregnant life in Jamaica, and I was just like, you know what? How can I live here?
Mm.
Like, how can I move here? I want to be here. I don't want to be, you know, in Atlanta at the time where I was. I want to be here. So I did that. I started working towards creating an app. I went and learned how to do software engineering and how to build an app so I can move to Jamaica, basically.
Nice.
So I created an app, and it connected tourists to local experiences.
Mhm.
So maybe like a bar link up. Maybe you're at the river, locals at the river. You could find your local here, there. That was in Jamaica, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Colombia.
Nice.
Yeah. So eventually I ended
Is
up,
that still available?
no, actually I sold it, and I just
Okay.
kind of moved on from that project because I really wanted to create a more tangible experience, something that I
Okay.
can put my hands on. And I dabbled kind of in the bed and breakfast arena with a small bed and breakfast that I sold on Airbnb, and I love cooking and hosting. And I was like, I think a boutique resort would be good for me and for my vision, because I stayed on those all-inclusive resorts, and I'm sure that most viewers can can relate when I say you don't know if you're in Jamaica, Mexico, Dominican Republic, or
That part.
Barbados or anywhere, because everything looks the same.
So
You
I'm
know,
going to interject there only
yeah,
because that is the precise reason why I don't go to resorts.
yeah.
And additionally, why I have not decided to visit Jamaica.
Oh,
Um, for me personally, I like to just stay someplace, not random, but I'm a
mhm,
big Airbnb supporter because I enjoy being able to stay in a local community.
mhm,
Um, Not far from the touristy things, just because
right,
I'm not above a good tourist trap. I can enjoy a
right,
lot of things that tourism facilitates, just because that's like a lot of the beautiful stuff that we enjoy, right?
mhm,
But from my experience of Jamaica, I just don't think it would be safe for me to travel the way I'm most comfortable traveling. So Jamaica has always been one of those places that I personally have been hesitant to visit unless I knew I can go stay with someone that lives
right,
there or their family is there. We're staying at your auntie's house
mhm,
or your grandpa's house, and
right.
they're good with everybody on the block. They're going to make sure nothing happens to you, to me, and
Yep.
we can have a good time exploring things around the surrounding neighborhoods. And
Mhm.
that's part of what really attracted me to your offerings, because that is something that you I guess kind of facilitate, is the interaction between tourists and the locals.
Absolutely. And what you're saying is valid. It is Airbnb is risky business. I mean, from personal safety with being around people maybe you don't understand the language as well,
Mhm.
to you don't know the quality of of the Airbnb that you're going to get until you get there. It could be 5-star or it could be 1-star. You just don't know.
And you
And
also just have to, the only way I've been able to combat that is I refuse to stay anywhere that doesn't have reviews and
right,
recent reviews. But that's
mhm.
so much, that is a bit of work. Did I ever leave that part out for you guys? Like when you do decide to stay
Right.
at even at a what do you call it, a resort or a hotel, absolutely read your reviews. That's how I make all of my final decisions on anything. And I feel that when people say, oh, you don't feel afraid to be alone here, or you're not scared to travel, so no, because I absolutely look for places that will cater to solo travelers. And I look to places that have reviews from solo travelers and people that look like me,
Mhm. Hello.
people that sound like me. Like, I'm reading your reviews. Are you American? No. So your experience of things may also be a little different than what I
Reviews
would
are
expect
hard.
from someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to do the work if you want
Mhm.
the experience that you're looking for.
I mean, I will debunk this for you though. I have lived in Jamaica by myself with my two sons, and they were maybe 4 and 6 or 3 and 5. They were very young.
Hmm.
And I mean, it was one of those things where we didn't, I'm not going to say crime doesn't happen because that would be a lie,
Right.
but we didn't necessarily run into any issues, when I was there. I felt very comfortable and safe, but I also have a huge Jamaican network of, people looking out for me, making sure things are
That
safe,
matters.
and I'm not making wild decisions. But
Hmm.
like I tell people, the best thing to do is just practice great common sense when you're traveling.
I just told
Just
my cousin that yesterday.
don't get in a car with strangers. Don't, do stuff you wouldn't even do in your own hometown,
Which I've
because
also done. God.
right, don't do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't do it again. But really, that's what I want to eliminate with Smile Jamaica. One of the aspects of it that I'm really excited about to share is actually our personal host system.
Hmm.
So instead of having a butler, or that really like kind of stuck up stuffy type of feeling, you have a personal host, which is really a personal friend, to assist you on the property and off the property, because I know that had to do a lot with my success in Jamaica, just having friends, having people looking out for me. So I definitely want to offer that. So when you come, do you solo travel mostly?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did too. And I love solo travel. So if you wanted to link up with the personal host, everybody gets a personal host, but you can choose basically how often you interact with that person. We're not going to force them on you,
Right.
of
That's one of
course.
the things I also enjoy about
Yeah.
Airbnb.
Right.
where you have that opportunity to choose a host that will engage with you, or
Mm-hmm.
you can find someone that's just kind of like, I always read that note, like, will
And see the
engage with,
parallels here, right? You see the
but
parallels,
it's
like
a more upscale
right,
experience. That's what
right,
I can appreciate.
right. Definitely more upscale, more structured type of
Hmm.
experience. And I know as a solo woman, Black traveler, it can be very kind of skeptical going out into these places alone. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, personal host, that's it's a great component to add. And I'm sure you've already seen the single solo traveler friendly aspect of it,
Yes, I
where
did.
our villas are made smaller.
Hmm.
Um, so they are there to accommodate solo travelers. So it's more of a per person rate rather than that double occupancy rate. And
Correct.
that's powerful. That's disruptive to the hotel system because nobody else in Jamaica, cruise lines are starting to do it to where they have like those solo cabins,
Hmm.
but no hotel has really adopted the idea, which is crazy, a huge missed opportunity because solo travelers don't want to pay a double occupancy. They don't want to pay that supplemental fee. We don't want to do
Right.
that. I
Now,
didn't want to.
my question to you, I'm a little unfamiliar with that. If you can
Mhm.
expound on that a little bit more. So hotels charge
Okay,
like,
so
yeah, you go ahead.
the rooms, if you get a $500 room, we'll just keep the numbers real simple.
Yeah.
The room is $500, and that's based on 2 guests.
Okay.
So basically, when you're paying your payment plan, I'm paying 250 and you're paying 250, right?
Hmm.
And we pay for our room. But let's just say it's just you,
Right. You
you
still
know,
have to pay the $500 for the room.
or you're paying more like 450. They're
Okay, I see what you're
still
saying.
they're getting like it depends on the hotel, but each hotel has it's called a single supplement rate or fee, single
Okay.
supplement fee. So they add on a certain percentage if you're by yourself to try to recoup some of the money that they would have gotten if they would have
Book two people to the room
booked two
versus
people.
the one.
Right, right. So we have eliminated that
I
with
didn't even know
having
that was a thing.
yeah, we eliminated it though. I'm like, okay, how can I really attract solo travelers? Because you don't want to come and have to pay for 2 beds or
I don't even want two beds there because it
right,
just makes it for me, it emphasizes lack. You know what I mean?
right,
Like it's just a reminder that you're there by yourself. I chose to be here by myself. Me being here by myself doesn't make me feel away. It's not like that. What was it? I'm forgetting Sarah Marshall, like you by yourself alone. No,
right,
like table for one. Like, yeah, like, and I'm okay with that. Like, that's why I travel solo.
right.
So,
And in addition to that, you have a community around you of solo travelers. Like your next door neighbor is also a solo traveler.
mhm,
So if you wanted to connect and talk or meet over drinks at the bar, or you have that community there. And that's really ultimately what I want to create with Smile Jamaica, which is a community. I want
mhm,
to give back to the locals, because resorts don't do that.
right,
They come in, they
right,
don't pay taxes, they discourage you from leaving the property by trying to scare the shit out of you,
mhm,
saying that you're gonna die and gonna have your organs sold on a black market if you leave,
right.
and then you go out and you realize that most people are just warm and welcoming to tourists and you're completely shocked. But I want to kind of change that narrative, if you will, that Jamaica has gotten, even has reached you, because they
Yes,
do that to black countries. You know,
yes, yes.
Venezuela is 100 times more dangerous than Jamaica,
Mhm,
as is Mexico. You know what I mean? When you look at statistics and numbers, there are a lot of places more dangerous than Jamaica. But
right.
because it's a predominantly black country, they get a lot of extra publicity about murders or whatever may be going on.
And also because it'll just fuel and fund the tourist business more so
Right,
than the local establishments.
right.
So,
So,
not a two-part question, but I just want to not forget the other one.
mm,
So that's another point that you had touched on, is you have that community of solo travelers, because
mm,
one of the things that I'm seeing more of is solo group travels, right? Where you see people facilitating solo travelers or a group of solo travelers.
Right.
And
Right.
that never appealed to me because I feel
You know,
like I
when
don't,
you sleep next to a stranger at some point.
right. It's just like, I feel like you're forcing me as a solo traveler to not be a solo traveler. Like you're forcing
Right.
me as a solo traveler to now be on a group trip under the guise
Mhm.
of everyone being solo travelers. Now, for some people,
Right.
I can see how that is
Right.
appealing. You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
somebody just really is interested in being around other people. But I feel like in this, not facility, I hate facility, just sounds so like jaily, but
Right.
um, I feel like there isn't that extra level of pressure to engage with the
Right.
people around you. Like I
Right.
like the idea of having the personal host because that is where I don't have a problem making friends. Like I can choose to engage and interact with people in a normal social, it's not weird setting. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I like the idea of the personal host because this way you can kind of facilitate or give me the information that I'm not going to have without me having to do so
Right.
much work to figure it out.
Right.
Because that's another thing that requires a lot of work is Googling local places or
Mhm.
finding a local that you trust
Yeah.
enough to say, like, where's a really fun bar that I'm not going to feel like accosted by people like wanting to buy drinks for me or people
Right.
that want to sell me something or just
Right.
I want to go have a drink and go home. Like I
Not
want
be
to have a good time without it feeling like I'm a tourist in the middle of a touristy place or
right.
without feeling other. That I think
Right.
that's the big part. Like I don't
Right.
want to feel other. I want this to be as normal as me going for a drink in my
Anywhere.
own neighborhood.
Right. And I'm all for that as well, which is exactly why we want to have the personal host system going and kind of floating around. And the great thing about Jamaica is it is a predominantly Black culture country. So you rarely feel that other feeling until you open your mouth, of course,
Yes.
like where you have a totally different accent, but you rarely just feel other just sitting there. You're just there. Everybody knows you're American. It's like something in our skin or something. They know
Yeah.
we're American, but
I
they
guess we have
don't.
American smiles or something.
Right? We just smell like Americans. Even the mosquitoes come at us harder in Jamaica. So
Yeah, that's I fucking hate mosquitoes. I
they
swear
are
to you.
crazy.
They
One time I
just
had like 30 mosquito bites per leg in Jamaica.
I saw a meme that said every day mosquitoes wake up and choose violence. Like this is
Right?
like this is how they live their lives. They are
It choose
predators.
violence. That
This
is
is why I don't
hilarious.
believe in spiders because if I'm still getting bit by mosquitoes, they're not on their job. So that
I
whole
don't
leave the
believe in
spiders
spiders.
because
Oh my God.
they kill the mosquitoes, they don't. And you know they don't. And you're it's a fucking
I don't
lie.
believe in spiders.
Nope, I don't believe in none of them. I could do ants. I would rather
Right.
almost any other insect other than arachnids and
Hmm.
fucking mosquitoes. Mm.
Mosquitoes are crazy. Okay, like
And you
back
can't
on the
even
topic though.
necessarily
Yeah.
find bug repellent when you travel, and
Well,
that's another thing.
well, I must actually. Jamaica does do a lot of like mass smoke fogging out the streets and stuff, especially in the touristy areas.
Okay.
They do try. And actually, when I talk about community, one of the things that we have done is partner with a local business that makes natural bug repellent.
Boom, because that's what I have found works the best for me. I
Because you see
personally,
how everything is in the trees, you
mm-hmm.
know. So we have to really kind of work. If we're gonna work with nature, we have to really do things to mitigate and try
Smart,
to work with it.
smart.
Yeah.
Because I found that there was something that um I was in Thailand and they had the repellent in the rooms. So I was
Hmm.
like, fuck it, like $2, $4. Let me it's what's the worst that could happen if I don't like it? Well, actually a lot of bad things could have happened. My skin could have
Right.
fallen off. But all that being said, like I tried it and I loved it. And I ended up buying like 4 bottles before I left
Yeah.
because I don't think I got more than maybe one mosquito bite. And it wasn't even like an aggressive
Oh,
bite. It was like,
a little
oh,
baby
we
bite.
tried. Right. And so I was
Okay.
like, this is incredible. But I've since used all the shits. It's gone. Like I don't have any more of the repellent, but I have found, pro tip, I use shea nut oil, and I
Mhm.
pour lemongrass essential oil
Okay.
because one, I just love the fragrance of lemongrass. That is my
That's
favorite
one of the
essential
scents in
oil.
there too.
Yes, and
Yeah,
that's all I
it
did. I
is like
looked at the bottle that had the of the natural repellents that I'd
oh,
seen,
and they
and
had
of
little
course, the internet gives
yeah,
you a wealth of information, and I'm like, oh,
right.
okay, lemongrass,
The
cool. So I'm
internet
not
will
gonna
provide
walk around with a lemongrass crown around my neck or on my head. So I'll absolutely just put it in my oil. So
right.
try that out. Lemongrass,
Yeah, that is a good
your
pro tip right there.
lotion,
I mean,
or and I don't I'm really not a
yeah,
lotion, but like it needs a lot of oils need a carrier when you mix them. And
yeah,
I personally love
lemongrass.
shea butter, but you can buy
Hmm.
shea nut oil. You can just
Hmm.
buy the liquid form. But anyway, how is it being or have you found any, I guess, tension or feedback, or what is your experience, if you will, as an American doing business abroad?
As a Black American,
Oh,
um, I have gotten great feedback.
okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, you've traveled, so you know most of the time when they say American, they're really talking about white people.
Of course.
Uh, they kind of put us in a separate category for some unknown reason. They do it. I
I'm
mean,
okay. I don't need to
yeah,
be.
me too. I'm okay. Like I'm okay. They do it. But as a Black American, I've gotten nothing but great feedback. Especially when I presented the all inclusive plus access to the tourism ministries.
Mm,
And the all inclusive plus is like my ultimate. Yes, I want Jamaica to win because all inclusive plus gives you access to restaurants and bars and clubs outside of the property.
oh,
So
so
now you can go to the community, into the local places. Like you said, you like to go to bars and drink. Now your probably won't be a wristband. I haven't figured out that yet, but
mhm.
maybe on the phone, on the app,
Ooh, I
um,
like
you
that
could
because it doesn't
show
make you a target, if you will. Like
right,
it's not
right.
obvious.
No wristbands. We're not doing
Mhm.
wristbands, okay? Like, but but even with that, like you can show, hey, I'm a part of the Smile Jamaica community, and there's your drinks. You know, like here's your food. I mean, and I've partnered with some great restaurants in Jamaica that are really tasty, and they have been vetted by me personally, all of
Right.
them so far. So,
I don't
you know,
understand why more people don't do that.
because they don't want you to take your money off of the property.
Mhm. But I mean, you're already paying for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
That's
understand.
true. I mean, I think it's more just about a control. If I keep you on the
Mhm.
property, you won't see any other things that you could do in Jamaica.
Right.
You'll only see what you can do through me. And I get it. It's business. And I'm not necessarily mad. I just want to do business differently. You
Right.
know, I want to really create a all-inclusive, I call it all-inclusive plus Jamaica experience. So now you have this all-inclusive resort plus all of Jamaica too.
I like
And
that.
if you have a request, right now we're taking requests. If you have a restaurant request that you want to see on All Inclusive Plus, we'll go out there and
Mhm.
try to make that happen for you, you know?
And if something weren't included in the plus option, would
Mhm.
you're not prohibited from going,
Right.
I would
Yeah.
assume.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you could pay for it and it all just be included, why not? You know, but I'm definitely just really about creating this community. You know, I just keep saying the word community because it's important. You know, really as a people
Yeah.
to preserve culture, to pass it down to people, and to really understand the complexity of a country. You have to understand the community at the end of the day. And I think, or I know, that's really where I'm trying to go with it. That's why I've been so heavy in asking the local community. I'm talking about locals, just regular people.
Mhm.
How do you feel about me building this right here?
Okay.
Local businesses, how do you feel about this? How could we make this a better experience for you? Because we're going to welcome the locals onto the property. If they want to come eat with us, if they want to come party with us, they're more than welcome to do that. This is not about
Right.
excluding people. This is about bringing people together,
I
all together.
just I don't know where I found it. Probably someplace on Instagram. But there was, oh no, I think I was actually reading an article that Gabby Beckford wrote. She's actually a guest on the podcast. And funny
Okay.
enough, Gabby, if you're listening, my cousin sent me the article and asked me for my opinion on the article. And I
Mhm.
opened it up and I immediately saw her name. So I answered him back. I'm like, I know her. She's a friend of mine. So I'm 90% just going to agree with it, but I'm going to read it and get back to you.
Right.
She was saying that that's one of the things that I want to say Giraffe Manor came under heat for.
Mhm.
After COVID hit,
I read
they all of a sudden welcome the locals to the
that.
property. Like, we're open to locals, and
Yeah.
a lot of the locals are like, fuck y'all, like, you were never here for us beforehand, but now that you're short on some coin, it's okay for us to be here. And I feel like some supporting industries or supporting locations, destinations, experiences, or whatever that are exclude the people that work there often, the people whose community you're violating, or not necessarily
Right.
violating like it's you're
But
a
just
bad
coming
person for
in.
going, but right, like
Right.
you're in their space but they're not privy to it. That was, I don't remember where it was, but there was some destination that I was like turned off of visiting. I don't know what country it was. I don't, maybe let's just say DR, just because I already have issues with DR as it is.
Right.
But they're like part of the island where like there's a invisible line, I think. Locals are on this side and this is the tourists. Like,
Mm.
the only reason why a local is going to be here is because they
They
are
were.
working here.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, what is the point? What is the point in
Yeah.
like, I get the point if you're just a lux kind of, I just want the views, the visual.
Right.
Like, if you're just there for the aesthetics and you want like everyday spa days aren't bad, so I don't even want to associate spa days to it, but
Right. Just you
the
just don't want to be bothered. You just want
yeah.
to come and get away. If that's what you want, I'm gonna just say that Smile Jamaica probably isn't the best place for you.
Mm,
You know, because we're not excluded from the locals. I don't even intend on ever doing that.
good.
You know, there are certain, I feel like certain times, sometimes they want to take like security precautions.
Right, but that's
Uh,
reasonable, you know what I mean? It's just
that's
like I
reasonable. You know, it's just kind of one of them things we have to monitor. We have to just see how it goes. But as of right now, we're not doing that. You know, none of that. I'm not gonna be racist towards my own colored people. You know what I
right.
mean? Like I'm just gonna welcome it. We're very aware of some things that could go wrong, but
Hmm.
we're taking precautions to kind of make people feel safe, you know, and
Right.
we're not just gonna have random people just running up on the property next to your villas and just
Right. But there's
walking
a
around.
difference
They're
between
they're gonna be
restrictive
right,
and like
right,
just
exactly.
reasonable. It's kind of
Right.
like if
Here.
you go to a restaurant, like if you're not a patron here, no, you don't just walk in and hang out at the
Right,
restaurant. It's like
right,
within reason, like, but
right.
everyone is welcome to eat here, but at the same time you're not just letting people come and
And just hang out like too bad.
loiter and like, yeah,
Right.
because it's
It's just
still an experience that you're providing
right.
for clientele. People are paying to be here
Yeah.
and
A lot of
experiencing this.
hotels in Jamaica do the day pass thing where you
Okay.
can purchase a day pass and come on. We'll probably adopt that, and instead of charging them $100, we'll charge something significantly less. But when you do charge people, and this is true for anywhere in America, or I mean in the world, that's what I mean. If you charge, people are going to think twice about coming around and doing some
With
reckless
the
things.
bullshit. Right.
Yeah, you're gonna think twice about it. If you got to pay $50 to get in somewhere, you don't want to necessarily do that just to get kicked out or
Right.
arrested. You know, so
Hmm.
I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to feel connected to Jamaica. I want them to feel like they are a part of this community now, and they are a part of Smile Jamaica forever. You know,
And you don't get that by not having locals welcomed.
exactly. Because how do you come to Jamaica and have a Jamaican experience without them Jamaican locals? Because honey,
Right.
they is off the chain. Okay, you need them. You want them. Okay, like
I just got a comment on Instagram. So if you guys are listening or if you are watching on the YouTubes, I generally go live on IG on my personal pages _ D Carry, and I got a
Oh,
comment from GS_World WORL. What up, G? He says, community support is integral even with universities in the hood. I don't know if you want to expound on that commentary, bruh. Just throw something under there. But yeah, I absolutely agree that if the people around you, the people that are surrounding you, support what it is that's going on, it's a better experience for people walking
yeah,
into, because it's like I would have to go through the community to get to
exactly.
the property or to the resort. And the last thing I want is the taxi driver giving me the side eye or telling me like
For
good
saying it.
luck. You know what I mean?
Right.
When he
Good
drops
luck.
me off or something like that. Or the people that
Oh,
I encounter on my way off of the resort looking at me side eyes, or,
right.
just I feel like people, it's kind of like when you go to um a certain like losing the words to when you go to establishments in your
Hmm.
regular everyday life. It's kind of like, if for example, I'm sure you're familiar with like gentrification. I don't know what's happening in Atlanta,
Hmm.
but like in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
one
Yeah.
thing to, it's like it just stands out and it just doesn't
Mhm.
feel good when you
And
go
nobody
to,
feels good about it.
right, when you go to like the real um preppy kind of the hipster
Right.
spot versus like, and then also I think it just depends on personality, because I'm all for everything black owned, so I'd absolutely skip by Biff and Tiff's spot and
Right.
go to Shonda's
Right.
location. But that's me
Absolutely.
personally. So
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say the best way to keep a community happy, this sounds crazy, but it's true, is to keep money in their pockets.
Yes.
I'm not paying them off, but all of our food comes from local farms. All of our fish comes from local fishermen. The people who provide our bath amenities, they're Jamaican and black. The people who design our blankets, they're black. The people who made the furniture,
Hmm.
they're Jamaican people. You know what I mean? Like everything that we do, we're sourcing Jamaica first, because 60%, over 60% of all the tourism food that comes into Jamaica is exported. That is
Ooh,
a lot,
yeah.
for for a country that has such lush greens and just land. It's just land on top of land in Jamaica. You know, it's like, you know what? We can do without the salmon, because that's not indigenous to Jamaica. So
Yeah.
we're gonna stick with the red snapper and support, this local fisherman over here. And then your food is fresher and then you're happier
Yes.
because your food tastes better, So
It's a
I,
win across the board.
it's a win for everybody. And I mean, even with my heart condition, I thought about um, making sure that there are accommodations for people like me, because disabilities come in all different shapes of form. You don't have to be in a wheelchair. I
Yes.
have
Yes,
a
yes.
machine attached to my heart,
Hmm.
you know, and I have to carry a bag around all the time with it. I can't walk up a lot of stairs and be doing all this crazy stuff. I'm
Hmm.
not trying to do that.
Hmm.
So having things close together, having options about where you can stay, bigger rooms. I don't want to say we thought of everything, but we thought of everything.
Right. You crossed all the T's. You crossed all the T's and dotted all them I's. So
And if
what
you guys
is,
listening here, I missed something, just let me know. And I mean, I'll find a way, because I want to make it something where people are comfortable, like
mhm. So
all
that
inclusive.
that was my next question. What is your story? Like, what is your why? Why is this so important to you?
Oh man. I basically started building this in 2017. I was living in Jamaica, like I mentioned earlier, with my two boys. And I was like, okay, I want to make this a tangible experience. So basically, I came back to the United States to find investment support, because it's easier to do that here,
Okay.
obviously. Um, by 2000, into 2018, 2019, I actually was pregnant. And yeah, no, I
Baby.
finally got a little girl.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And, during that pregnancy, we were still planning, testing different concepts, different markets, the architecture, see what people were more interested in. Do they want pools? Do they want wood? Do they just really kind of doing our research? I mean, this is what year is it? 2020.
Yeah.
This
Who
is
knows
3
at
years
this
in the
point?
making. Like, I don't even know what's happening anymore half the time. But 2019, I had my baby to September 2019, September 16th. And
Like
7
yesterday.
days,
That's a new baby.
yeah,
Welcome. Almost a year. Almost a year.
almost a year. 7 days after I had my baby, I had a massive heart attack
Wow.
from a rare heart failure
And how old
induced.
are you, if you don't mind me asking?
29 now.
Because I
At
was
the time,
looking at your pictures on Instagram. I'm like, is she like 17? Is this like a
no,
teen mogul I'm about to have on the podcast?
29 now. I just had a birthday in June.
Happy
So
birthday. I love birthdays.
thank you. Yeah. So yep, I had my first massive heart attack. I went to the hospital.
First.
Yeah. They did some checks and they were like, oh, take some aspirin and some blood thinners. You'll be fine. You know, I just want to throw out that this rare heart failure is 10 times more likely to happen to Black women than any other group of women.
Because they just don't care about us. They don't listen. They feel like we can tolerate all the pain. So what are you complaining about? Because this is what you're designed for. But your story, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's true though. It's true. And literally the day after they discharged me from the hospital, I had another massive heart attack. It was September 26th now. And I did not wake back up until October 15th.
Fucking Christ.
I was on ECMO, which is life support on.
Sis, you had just had a child.
Yeah.
Like you just welcomed life into this world
1
and
week. I
almost
had
lost
1
yours.
week with her until, because I was fine for that week. Nobody knew anything. And it was
all
like,
the monitors they have you hooked up to, all of
girl,
them machines and all of the testing that they should be doing and all of
it still shakes me when I hear somebody get pregnant now because of, I know what I've been through. What is called is PPCM, which is peripartum cardiomyopathy. And it's basically an enlargement of the heart. And then that enlargement stresses the heart. And then I had something called SCAD happen, which is a spontaneous coronary artery dissection, where a part of one of my arteries in the left side split from the inside and created a blockage. And that's how I had a heart attack. So obviously I went into heart failure, end-stage heart failure. I was on ECMO. That means that I had a machine operating my liver, my lungs, my heart, and my kidneys. By the grace of God, my brain did not shut down.
Wow.
And I don't know how, because it was so bad. Okay, my heart.
And you're young.
At 2%. Okay, 2% ejection fraction. I mean, if you're a nurse, you know what I'm talking about. But 2% is very low. Normal is like 75, 85.
I mean, I don't do numbers, but 2 is low.
2 is low.
I mean,
2 is low.
I got that part. God damn.
So I mean, I had basically when I
that's
woke
how
up,
much. That's how much of your heart was functioning on its own.
Yep, pumping the blood through. Basically, kind of.
Copy.
It could only do 2%. So at the time, I had a big machine attached with these big red cords hanging, pumping my heart, chest tubes. I mean, you see all these scars, girl. I've been beat the fuck up, okay? Like, I've been
2% ain't acceptable for a phone battery, okay?
Right.
At
barely.
2%, you like, yo, I gotta call you back.
Right.
I can't,
right.
Everything is shutting down at 2. Wow.
Yep. So woke up. I had basically a week or two to decide whether or not I wanted to get this LVAD, which is a left ventricular assist device, which pumps the blood through the left side of my heart. So it's attached to the left side, pumping it through. And that is the only reason I'm living today.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I made that decision to do that. I remember laying in the hospital. First, I remember waking up and seeing my boyfriend like, did I have a baby? You know what I mean? Like, what happened? Like, completely confused. I didn't talk for months because I was sitting there in the hospital trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do with my life? What is my next move now? Because my whole life has been around travel, great experiences. And I just, at the time I had staples down my chest and tubes hanging out. There was no sight for me. It was very hard to have vision. I couldn't even walk. I had to relearn how to walk, learn how to talk, learn how to move my hands and write. It was such an experience for me at 28 years old. Not being able to see my kids for months. I lost count of how many open heart surgeries I had after 6.
Shit.
So I'm here though. And once I was, getting through recovery and rehab and starting to walk again, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to do it. There's nothing else I can do. I was thinking for 3 months, girl, what else am I gonna do? And I was like, there's nothing else I can do. This is what I'm supposed to do, so I have to do it. I'm gonna have to figure it out. My thing has always been, there's nothing you can't do with enough money. You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
So if
Ain't
I have to get a personal
word.
doctor or a personal nurse to follow me around and make sure I'm good, I'm doing it,
Yeah.
So I got to it. I went back to school and did hotel and lodging management so I could feel more equipped to do this. At Johnson and Wales, a very prestigious college in the States. I just said I'm gonna do it. And now Smile Jamaica, I really feel like it gave Smile Jamaica more purpose. Now Smile Jamaica is simply a celebration of life.
Yeah.
About culture and people. And it really highlights the resilience of our people and our culture. Because this was hard. You know what I mean? I struggle mentally more than anything. Health-wise, I'm back in great shape under the circumstances.
Right.
I've done such a great, phenomenal recovery. I could not ask for a better recovery.
This hasn't even been a year.
It hasn't been a year.
God, man, you like a fucking superhero, bro. Like, this is huge. I get like worn down, like I get my period and I'm like, it's a wrap. Like, I'm done. I'm not leaving the house. I don't want to go anywhere. And
I have excessive pain. When you were talking about how they just let us be in pain, they letting me be in pain right now. Like, I feel pain excessively all the time. But I'm like, I have to do this, because if I don't, what will my daughter think? Will my daughter think that I didn't follow my dreams because of something that happened after she was born? Because I don't blame her. You know what I mean? But I don't want her to feel like responsible in any way.
Yeah.
I want her to say, mommy did this despite, having this happen to her. And if I could do this, my kids don't have a damn excuse in hell not to do anything. Okay, like
that bar done been set. Like,
so y'all about to do this. Y'all about to see me thrive. Y'all about to see this come to fruition, because it's hard. My sons, they break my heart every time. They're like, Mom, I wish your heart never broke. You just don't. I'm like, me too, son. Me too. But I'm still here. It's okay. They still get really emotional about it, because they really know how.
And how old were they when it happened?
The same age now, 5 and 7.
Oh, they're absolutely old enough to remember this and to know how they felt like they could have lost you.
Yeah.
Like,
my oldest son, I remember dreaming, because when you're sedated, you're dreaming for the most part. And I remember they came in the room and they hung up a picture on the wall. So you're sedated, you're half in, half out. But I remember that picture with all their pictures on it. And I remember seeing my oldest son, he cannot get along without his mama. I'm gonna have to wake up. Like, he can't do it. He can't. Like, he needs me. I'm gonna have to wake up. And every day, it was a fight. I was like trying to wake up. It's such a crazy, trippy type of experience. And I'm one of those people who like to Google things and try to like see what's going on. So for me to go through it myself is like, wow, like I was trying to wake up every day, just trying to come back to my kids every single day.
So totally like fuck travel right now. So are you a religious person or a spiritual person? They're very not necessarily the same, but like.
I'm a very spiritual person.
Same.
Very spiritual. Before this, I was a very spiritual person, but after this, to me, there's no denying the presence of a God. Because things worked out so perfectly. The first time I had a heart attack, I should have died. But my cousin just happened to come over my house that day to see the baby. 1 week after she was born, she was like, I'm going to come over. Should I come over? I was like, girl, yeah, just come over. She's like, should I wait till the weekend? I'm like, girl, you can just come over. And she came over, and literally within 30 minutes of her getting there, she had to call 911.
Oof.
I started sweating. It was unimaginable. And I just want to say to the Black women out there that are pregnant, or somebody that's pregnant, listen to your body and don't let them tell you that what you're experiencing, if you're tired, you can't get out of bed, that's not normal. That's not normal pregnancy. If your blood pressure is really, really low, that's not normal. Okay, stop letting them tell you that it's normal. That's what I did. There's actually a test called the BNP test it's simple blood work to see if you are at risk for heart failure that you can ask for. Easy. And all it takes is a blood test, but yet they don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You still have to ask for it. Girl, don't get me started on that BNP test, because when I found out that there was a test that they could have did to help me, it's so much frustration, but I really can't look at what woulda, coulda, shoulda, because then I would not be able to be here present in this moment today, So that's why Smile Jamaica is important. It's gonna happen because I need it to happen. You know what I mean? I need it to happen, and we need this. I feel like it was a great idea before this happened, and I feel like it's even a better idea for me to do it now.
I'm like in total awe of you. So back to Smile Jamaica, what type of accommodations do you provide for travelers with disabilities?
So we have it's called the Deluxe Villa right now. I'm working on some more creative names, but it's very similar to the single villa. And it has like a mini beach in the back or a pool, depending on what you want. It's set up very similar to the single villas, if it's bigger. It's 55 meters square or something like that. So it's much bigger. But they're about the same. Of course, we'll have all the handicap accommodations, the stairs, ramps, all that, those good things for them. I do want to host like a heart event at some point, just to kind of, bring awareness to Jamaican heart cases, because a lot of people experience this in Jamaica, but they don't have LVADs to save their life.
What's that?
The LVAD?
Oh, the machine that you have in your heart right now.
Right. So they don't have that type of technology there. I mean, because this is some technology for you, okay? Like, this is some real technology. I have just show you briefly, I have a cord hanging out my body. This is a electrical cord with the batteries and the controller in here. I just have different bags, I got to keep it cute.
Right. For those of you not watching, she's got this really cute Adidas bag with her, your heart pump, your heart battery, basically, your heart in a bag.
Heart in a bag. Christ. And a lot of people, let me just say this. Maternal deaths are related to the heart, are the number one cause of deaths for Black women. So if I can be on this platform right now and tell any pregnant woman to go get that BNP test, that just something as simple as that, go do it. All you have to do is request it. And it's just a simple blood test. They take all that blood from you anyways.
Yeah.
They can test for heart. They can test for heart failure.
Check the box off. That's it.
Check the box off. It's just something simple. And there was actually a YouTuber who just died after she was still pregnant, because this can happen while you're still pregnant. It was a YouTuber that just passed away like last week, I think it was last week, from heart problems in her pregnancy. Very similar situation. I don't know if it was PPCM exactly, but it was something that could have been prevented, I'm sure. There was a lady in Arizona who had PPCM. She was 5 months postpartum, okay? So she'd already had her baby, been living her life for 5 months, was just Googling chest pains before she walked out the house with her 5-month-old child, and passed out on the porch from a heart attack and smothered the baby too.
Oh, God.
I'm not trying to kill the vibe right now, but I'm just really trying to stress the
information is key. Information is key.
Important. It's critical that you get this checked out. I don't know if it's just because now I have this issue, now I'm seeing more of it,
Absolutely.
or if there's really more issues like this arising. I don't know, but the YouTuber was enough for me. Like, that's very close in my opinion. Like, I didn't think I would meet another woman who would go through what I went through after I went through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought it was so rare.
It was isolated incident, or it's just, well, look at me in my life. But so are there any pre-existing conditions or anything, what's the word I'm looking for? Something that puts you at a higher risk for this happening to you? Or is it like
There
an age
are
thing? If you have, I don't know, like what
there are
are there
some
things?
pre-existing conditions, but not that, like if you have multiple children, you may be at a higher risk.
Hmm.
Um, if you already have heart disease, obviously, then you're at a much higher risk. Um, it's pretty much normal things that people go through. So it's really still kind of hard to like pinpoint who's
Right.
at a greater risk. I had zero heart problems. I was in the Air Force previously. I've worked out. I've had good heart. I've ran miles. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right. It's
for it to
left
happen to
field.
me was definitely something new. It was something strange. And it happened though. It happened.
And this is one of the things, like, kind of unrelated, but my, like, tangentially, if you will. So I'll be 35 in
Mhm.
like 2 weeks, and I'm already on the fence with kids at this point. And it personally bothers me when people, now I understand why they do it. They just try to reassure you, oh, you can have you have mad long to have kids. Don't worry about it. You can have kids for. At this point, I'm kind of on the downward slope to, having kids. Not on the downward slope like it's impossible, but
Right.
I'm older. So I'm already now a candidate for a high risk pregnancy. And
Hmm.
I hate the way people try to paint pregnancy and having children and childbirth like it's something that, granted, we're naturally designed for it to be something that should be simple, air
It
quote,
ain't
like quotes
simple, child.
here, but there's nothing simple about it. Like, so many fucking things can go wrong. So many things can happen. Like we were already established, Black women just aren't listened to in healthcare, period. Add bringing another life into. I had a cousin who, I want to say it was I know it was Shantae. I want to say it was her first daughter, where she almost fucking died just because they were just ignoring her. Like they just weren't
Mhm.
paying her any mind. And
It's
um,
hard.
it's like there's so many things that stand in the way of happy and healthy children and childbirth and all of that in general. I hate the way people kind of try to
Downplay it.
diminish the thought that one goes into having a child and be as if it's just something so flippant that just anybody can. Yeah, it's easy for some people. One, two, you don't
Yes,
know if it's easy for me. You don't know what my personal health um situation is. And it's like, when you hear about things like this, you really really have to sit with how beautiful bringing life into the world is, and also how dangerous it can possibly be for
very
somebody.
dangerous.
And I just really wish that people would put the respect on having a child
It is
that should be.
dangerous.
Like,
I
you got
call
to
it an
go back to
extreme
work.
sport. I
Hmm.
say pregnancy is an extreme sport. Period. You have to be in health, good health. You need to be in good health at least as best as you can,
Right.
and you have to eat a certain way. You have to maintain. I mean,
There's so
pregnancy
many
is
things you
good.
can't do or you're not supposed to do already
Right.
when you're
Sure,
pregnant.
pregnancy is beautiful. Sure. I mean, yeah, the idea of pregnancy is
It
beautiful.
doesn't seem appealing to me.
The idea of it. That's why I say the idea of pregnancy is
Right.
beautiful. But actually going through the motions of having a baby is miserable. And I can only speak from my own experience.
Right.
Even with my first two sons, I remember not wanting to be pregnant anymore. Like I just wanted to get it over with. Like, can we have this baby today?
I
Like
can't tell you there's one pregnant person I've ever encountered who wasn't over it by the
I
time
can
they got to the end.
some
It's like,
women
yeah, it
though,
was
some
great.
women stay pregnant.
Whew.
Some women love being pregnant and they have like a gajillion kids. And power to them. They're the real MVPs out there for real. Because I didn't think
I
I was
think
gonna have
anybody that pops one out is an MVP, whether
that.
you pop it out or it's taken out or however you bring life
Yeah.
into this
However it
world.
comes.
Like, it's, and not to shade on women that are adoptive parents, like, but that's
Mm-hmm.
a different conversation in and of itself.
Yeah.
That's just the motherhood part. But the
Right.
the
And I thought
pregnancy,
about adopting after this situation. I was like, well, the only way that I can really have a baby at this point is to adopt. I would never, ever in my life, even if I could, even if I wasn't on blood thinners and all the other medication I'm on, I would never in my life put I cannot stress to you enough
Because it's
how I
not
would
just
never in
you.
my life.
It's the rest of your family also that
Right.
would have to, be worried about you constantly
Yeah.
and just
I can't.
concerned.
It's impossible at this point, but I would definitely consider. I love children. Okay, I would definitely consider adopting, and I don't know what that dynamic would be like to adopt a child, and
I have
how
tons
old
of
would they be?
adopted aunts and uncles, and let me
Yeah,
tell you, they the same.
they the same.
It's just like I don't look at them like, oh, that's my adopted
Adopted,
aunt or that's
right?
my adopted uncle. That's my
Right.
uncle. Period. Like, all
Yeah.
right, so like, nope. And
Right.
the wildest thing is that even after, like it's just it's kind of like when you see like an old couple that
Mhm.
starts to look like each other. It's like
Yeah.
I'm looking at even
That's
my
beautiful.
adopted aunts and uncles, and I'm like, but you just fit in, like you blend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like some are a
and
little
that's
bit
how it
brighter,
should
and
be.
some.
Just a family, and I love that dynamic too. I mean, my two oldest sons are not biologically my boyfriends, but we're a
Mhm.
big old happy family over here, and that's just how it should be.
Right.
So I definitely, pregnancy, pregnancy. That's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy is hard. Take care of yourself. Don't be out here wilding out. Look out for your sisters, especially your stubborn sisters
Ooh.
who don't like to go to the hospital. Look out for them. Be their eyes and ear, and you are your own best advocate. That's the
Mm-hmm.
best advice I can give anybody in any type of health situation, or hell, any situation. You are your own best advocate. Don't wait on other people to come and advocate for you. Do it yourself.
As
Raise
you
hell.
should be.
Raise hell.
But
If
that
you're
can also be
unhappy,
hard for people. I can understand,
yeah,
especially
it
if you're
can
already
be.
just
But
stressed
it's your
about it.
life. It's like it's your life. Like, do you want to potentially be in a situation where you cannot care for your child? Because I'm telling you right now, one of the hardest things was recovering
Mm,
for me was not being able to pick up my newborn. You know, that was hard.
yeah.
Not being able to,
Especially
she
after
dropped
not
her
seeing her
pacifier,
for
not being
so
able to
long.
pick up the pacifier for her. Things like that used to have me in tears. Not able to pick up my daughter's pacifier off the floor because I can't bend over. I don't have that type of stability right now to
Mm-hmm.
bend over. And it would just be like, oh God, the world is ending. I can't pick up this pacifier. You know what I mean? Like
Small things.
small
Small
things.
things.
Like I can't hold because I couldn't breastfeed her. I had to like try
Mm-hmm.
to get the formula in the bottle. I'm spilling formula. I'm like, oh God, I can't with it. You know what
Life
I
is
mean?
already difficult with a newborn. It's
Right.
already hard. And to now
Yeah.
add the difficulty of recovering from massive heart attacks, massive surgeries.
Yeah. But you know what? My aunt, she lives out, a little bit further out in Metro Atlanta. She held it down like
Shout out to
a
the aunties.
champion. A champion, okay? Like I cannot, like I might cry just talking about my aunt because she really held it down for me. While my boyfriend was at the hospital with me, she was at home with a
Right.
newborn that she did not birth, that she didn't ask for it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I called her. I was like, well, I just remember telling, my boyfriend before I went in, call my aunt, tell her to come get Irie and the boys. And she kept them. She enrolled the boys into school over there. They did
Wow.
so many things while I was sick. I mean, talk about a family that really came together
Mm-hmm.
for the greater good of the children. They did that. They already know the first major gift I'm giving is to my aunt when the time comes because she held it down. And my daughter loves my aunt now. Like it's just a beautiful relationship. And I don't even get in
Right.
between it. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
that's your
Right. Because
baby
she was
too.
there.
You know what I mean? Like that's your baby too. We gonna share it because she did it. I can't take it away ever.
Yeah. So what has COVID been like for you?
Girl, I've
Especially
been
considering you're, I would assume, a high risk
yeah.
for.
I think COVID has been the same for me as everybody else. If anything, I may be a lot more anxious than some people because I went from basically all last year, 2019, being on lockdown because I was pregnant and hella uncomfortable,
Mm,
to September having the baby, still being in the hospital till December, the end of December, to recovering at home January through March. And then as soon as I was able to travel, which
damn.
would have been in April, I was going to
Shit.
travel in April. COVID shut me down. I've
Hard
been
too.
salty about COVID this whole time. Like sitting here trying to debate if I'm gonna go to Jamaica or not. Like, just like, you know what, I might suit it and boot it and just go ahead and take that trip, because things are different in Jamaica. And it's a shit show here in America. Like, this shit is crazy.
And you're in the
here,
South.
like.
And you're in the South. So y'all have not.
I mean, we have our governor suing our mayor of Atlanta. So it's just like, what is going on? You know?
Heard about that. I got some cousins out there. And she was like, it's a total shit show out here.
Total shit show. I mean, I'm just like, throw them all away. All the government, everybody, throw them all away. Start over.
They
haven't been helping. Kanye running for president. I'm just like,
I don't believe that. That is just, I mean, just foolishness. Because I mean, he didn't even file for the deadline or the thing. So I feel like it's just him. Whatever. Skipping Kanye.
I don't know. I haven't even researched it. That's how much I care about it. I'm just like, oh Lord, what next?
I see it in passing as I'm scrolling. Exactly. I pause, check in. Right. Let's see, just so that I'm not under a rock. No, this is still okay, sir. Exactly. And we're moving on. So, has COVID slowed anything down in terms of bringing Smile Jamaica to fruition? Has it put a pause or anything?
Definitely. It was paused for a while, but now it's not. It's actually unpaused today because my business partner just took a trip down there, and she's about to start scouting all the lands out and making sure everything is great. If anything, the interest rates on land, pro tip there, have dropped significantly in Jamaica from what I've seen. So, you know, if you are interested in purchasing land in Jamaica, just want to throw that out there, or purchasing a house or abroad, the bank will actually cover or loan you up to 90% of whatever the cost of the house is.
Wow.
And 25% for any land. Like, you have to pay 25% down on any land and then 10% on it. So, if you're thinking about jumping out of this country,
try to think about a little bit. How about y'all
right.
What's the day? When do I get paid?
Right. I mean, they got some nice houses for $300,000. You know, you can put $30,000 on that thing and be gone. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, like, because it's crazy over here. But, you know, Smile Jamaica, I'm so excited, like, just to be here, you know, speaking with you about it and just telling more people about it. People are really taking extremely well to it, which is making me so happy on the inside. And, you know, I want the community, the Black community, the Black travel community, a part of this project. You know, not exclusively, but hey, if y'all want to support the crowdfunding on August 1st on Indiegogo, check your girl out.
That's what I was going to ask you. How can we support you?
Yep. So we will be doing another crowdfunding, because the Kickstarter, that didn't work out as well. It worked because we got plenty of investors, but we want to still offer the community an opportunity to really show their support, because we had, you know, over $5,000 raised, you know, so somebody wants to support. So on the crowdfunding, what you can expect would be a lot of local gifts. We have some custom-made leather bags, the bath amenities that we'll have in there. If you're into music, we'll have a bunch of local artists on like a mixtape setup. Our cookbook, because I am a chef by trade.
Really?
Yep, I am a chef by trade.
Interesting.
So I love to cook. That's why I love that bed and breakfast of mine. So but with this cookbook, we actually collaborated with a lot of Jamaican elders. So I'm really excited about this cookbook because it has so many great, like, old Black recipes. You know what I mean? Like,
right. It's not going to a resort and asking what they have on their menu and just kind of like printing it out.
Right. So, you know, there's so many things that I could say about Smile Jamaica at this point, you know, but really what I want people to understand about it is that it's a community resort. We want your feedback. We want you to be involved. We want you to come, obviously. We are super flexible. One thing I didn't mention was the technology aspect about it. Check-in and check-out times. It's flexible, just like with Airbnb. So you can actually check in as soon as you land in Jamaica, you know, You don't have to
I
come
hate that
there.
having to wait until, like, if my flight
No,
arrives at 10 a.m., what am I doing till 3 p.m.? Of course, I can
no,
find something to do, but I
no,
want to
exactly.
shower. I want to put my bags down. I want
Again,
to, like,
there's no check-in counter at Smile Jamaica. You
mm,
take your phone, you check in, we'll tell you what room, how to get there on the app, and you can either use your phone as a key access, or your personal host will come and let you in and give you the access to the room.
I like
So,
that option because even if it's late at night and
right,
you like don't want to roam around on your own,
right,
you've got the option. Or if it's like in the middle of the day and you really just had like a terrible travel experience and you don't want to be bothered speaking to people.
right,
And that's another thing that
exactly,
I think a lot of people forget about solo travelers is that some of us can be a little particular, and that's
right.
why we go by ourselves, because a little, we're better able to avoid the things that we don't want to be involved with and
Mm-hmm.
engage more in the things that we do find interest in. So I absolutely like that flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about flexibility, giving options, and really just kind of redoing the way we think about hotels and resorts. Like, it's so boring nowadays, the cookie cutter type of, yeah, man, you got all this,
Yeah.
la, 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 and they say yeah, man, a lot in Jamaica, but it's not that old dread hat. That's what I think about when I think
The
about resorts. Dread hat,
stereotypical picture that they sell
right.
you on everybody's
Right. And it's not
movie
like
and
that. We want you to have a real authentic experience. And what you will find is that Jamaican people are not that different from you and me. You know what I
hmm
mean? And
oh, it's tons of them out here. I live in New York,
right,
so
right. Oh yeah, you already know this. You already know.
right, it ain't
I
nothing
mean,
new.
we're all the same at the end of the day. I mean, even we might speak different languages, have different cultures and what the way we do things and celebrate different holidays, but we all go through the same bullshit. Everybody.
hmm
Same bullshit. Boyfriend done cheated on you. That didn't happen in Colombia. That didn't happen in Madagascar too. Like, it's
Right.
the same old bullshit everywhere. Everybody's dealing with it. You
Right.
know,
So I
restaurant that
have
got your order wrong. Same old, just things.
it sucks for a lot of people in a lot of different languages and a lot of different beliefs and a lot of
Hello.
different
Yeah.
viewpoints and a lot of different colors, and it's just like this is travel. It's and I feel like what appeals to me and the in the ways that I travel is that not only the is it not a cookie cutter experience, but it's community sourced.
Right.
It's because I find that I want to do black shit when I travel. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy doing black shit when I'm home. So I want to do this is something that I actively seek when I travel. So having it, but I'm also very turned off by the idea of resorts. I don't
Yeah.
like resorts because of the way it makes me personally feel like I'm so separate from
Right.
the community.
Right.
So this is something that I personally can see, especially considering a lot of it is included, like all
Right.
inclusive plus.
The
Because I initially looked at the price and I was like, oh, I can't afford that. But then I'm like, sis, yes, you can, because you're absolutely going to spend so much more. Because I never do all inclusive just because I don't do resorts.
right.
And it's just the idea of, well, I don't need 3 meals a day, or I don't
Right.
this, or I don't that. But I absolutely see where if I go someplace and I spend separately, how I'm going to spend the same thing. Or one day you would have saved $100, but then the next day you overspent or you overshot
Right.
because it's like you wanted to do something nice one day. So it's like you
And
just have so many
And
options.
you could choose what day you want to do the all inclusive plus. You don't have to have it for every single day. You could just say,
Really?
oh, on this day, on Friday, I'm going to go out in the open and I want to eat here and do this. You could just buy all inclusive for one day. When I say we want to have max flexibility, vacation your way,
I can't do
okay.
the finger snap like they do it, but oh, that makes a fucking difference.
Yeah,
You really thought of
your way.
everything.
I told you.
That's all the things. Cause I'm
I
like,
told you.
I can't afford
I travel. I made this the
$250
way
a
I
night.
travel. This is how I travel. This is what I wanted as a solo traveler. And when I talk to other solo travelers, this is what they wanted. That's why it seemed like I thought of everything, because I'm talking to you. I
hmm
asked you without asking you what you wanted. You know what I mean?
I have a question about that. How do you do that? What is your now? This is just in terms of the the research, like the business end of it? Like, how do you do your research? Because I'm certain I can't be the only person that, as much as I enjoy tinkering and digging around and Googling things, I feel like I absolutely lack in terms, because I feel like there's an intelligent way to research, and then there's like the average way to
Right.
research. So how did you go about the research end of it and the investigative part and
Okay. Yeah.
finding
So
people to work with and to trust
yeah,
the idea?
the one thing I feel like people don't do, and I didn't even do in the beginning of my entrepreneur journey, was reach out to government. People don't really sleep on, especially small countries like Jamaica. They really want you to come and invest in Jamaica. They want you to be there. They want you to come in and bring your money to Jamaica. So when you reach out to them, they'll give you so many different resources to make building easier for you.
Hmm.
So, for example, um, the Jam Pros, that's the website, they offer you help with finding investors to an extent.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, Giving you certain interest rates, making sure that you can find a loan, um, things along that nature, anything that they can to support you. They connect you to the JTB, which is Jamaican Tourist Board. Make sure that you are listed on there. I mean, there's steps that you have to go, but they're pointing you in the direction to let you know where. Now, as far as information, research, and marketing information, I went to JTB.online, whatever the website is, the tourist board website. They usually have free statistics listed on there. So you could see what hotels are doing what. You could see that, there's X amount of rooms in Jamaica, and they want to add this amount of rooms, and people are staying in boutique resorts, this amount, and they break it down for you. That's where I get a lot of my information to kind of go out on from that point. The next thing I do, I was in a lot of different Facebook groups in a very non-disrespectful way to the person who owns that group. I would just ask questions. You know what I mean? Just, hey, how do you guys feel about XYZ at a resort? I'm not going to put out there, I'm building a resort. I'm just saying,
right. It's a
have you
question.
ever experienced this? Have you ever experienced this at a resort? What's your favorite thing about this resort? What do you, look for when you're choosing a resort? Just asking questions, like really getting in the community and
Got
just
it.
kind of trying to figure out what you want to do. The third thing I can definitely suggest is to just launch at some point, because you don't know who is watching you and who's going to want to come and be a part and offer value into what you're building. That's how I met my business partner, actually. I had the crowd, that Kickstarter, and I was just like, I'm just going to launch it, see what happens. You know what I mean? And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to launch it. I did it anyways. And I got some Maya, and I got a $10 million investment offer. And I got,
damn.
you know what I mean? Like, but I didn't reach the goal. So don't be afraid of failing. You know what I'm saying? Because the Kickstarter failed, but did it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like just really launching and putting different ideas out there. I had 3 different Smile Jamaica concepts, I want to say, and I basically put them out on the Instagram and press, promote to see what people were reacting to. And, whereas before I would get like 20 likes or something, this Smile Jamaica has gotten over 10,000 likes.
Okay.
Collectively through social media. So this must be the winner. This one works. You know what I mean?
And you did you do the whole business plan and having
Definitely.
stuff on paper? Okay, because I feel like that's generally where I drop the balls. I don't do the writing things on paper and stuff like that.
What you could do to kind of like not get intimidated by a 30-page business plan would be to make a one-page plan, clearly state your mission. I was always told from when I did my Beat project, my app project, that a 5-year-old should be able to understand what you're doing.
Right.
So make it as simple as possible. You know what I mean? As little words as possible, as small words as possible, and explain it out. Make your executive summary. Any extra points, just write it in as bullets almost.
Right.
So I would just start there. And then a pitch deck. A pitch deck is another great next step. Some people write their business plan, then a pitch deck. But a pitch deck is just a PowerPoint that easily shows, you know, people what you're doing, the investor, what you're doing very quickly. And then you usually follow it up with the business plan. So pitch deck, 1 page. You want to put it on paper though.
Right.
Otherwise it just gets mumbled, jumbled up in your head and you can't.
It's an idea and not a plan.
Right. Oh, so yeah.
Ideas, not plans. Get
Is
ideas.
she loud? Can you hear the baby?
Yeah. But it's real life. Hello. Like,
right.
Okay. I'm over it. So just because I'm curious, so for the most part, did you have to like personally fund this, or is most of it investor funded?
No, right now everything is personally funded. All the renderings, the architectural documents and things that you see I paid for out of pocket.
Okay. So there's still a level of like you're putting yourself fully into this.
So far I've already put in at least $20,000 into this project.
Jesus.
Hey, you have to do it. I always look at it like
scared money don't make no money.
Hello. And really, if I'm not willing to bet on myself, how can I expect anybody else to bet on me?
Yeah. Fair.
Right.
That part. So where can the people find you? How can we support Smile Jamaica? How can we reach out to you if we have questions about, because I took a bunch of notes because these are all different. I'm absolutely going to email you after this, the little acronyms that I put down so that you can fix what I did, because I absolutely was blown away by all of the pieces of information that you've been able to share. But where can people find you to reach out to you for questions or more information about Smile Jamaica, and to also stay up to date with when we can actually show up? Because I'm absolutely on board with showing up.
We want to have the first one open by January. It won't be the resort, the boutique resort, but we will have a set of 8 villas built by high season, which is about February, January. So we want to have that done by then. You can find us on Smile Jamaica, and spell Jamaica all the way out, resort.com. Or Instagram probably is the best place to go right now, and that's Smile JA Resort. And if you want to reach out to me directly, you can go to tflowers@smilejaresort.com. Or just hit us up on Instagram. I answer that too. So
Tyla, thank you so much for being very candid and sharing your story with me. I absolutely appreciate that. And also for opening my eyes to a way to actually do resort travel that appeals to me. And thank you for taking the plunge to follow your dream and actually make this a tangible and accessible option for solo travelers, for Black travelers, for travelers in general, but I care about us. So thank you for believing in yourself enough to make this happen. So I appreciate you being here and chatting with me.
Thank you for being my first official podcast interview. And because of that, we do want to offer you a 4-night stay at Smile Jamaica when we open. You can stay at the resort or you can stay at the villas. It's up to you.
I'm there.
And the all-inclusive plus. So
thank you so much. I was already planning like, damn, all right, Jamaica, January. Yep, I can get time in January. January's easy. Present. Say less. It happened. Y'all heard it on the podcast.
Right. You heard it first on here, right?
I am absolutely there. Thank you so much, Tyla. I really appreciate you sharing yourself with us.
No problem. You all have a great day.
You too. And hug them babies. Hug them babies for me.
All right.
All right, love. Thank you. Take care.
You too.